7 things I didn't know about Beyonce. Lots of people have been crowned the queen of pop over the years, from Madonna to Lady Gaga, and from Whitney Houston to Britney Spears. With that said, I'd like to make a case for the fact that the true queen of pop has been right in front of us all along, and it's Beyonce. She's broken more industry records that you can count, being the first woman with 3 albums to all reach over a billion streams, the first woman to have an album and single simultaneously hit the top spot in both the UK and US charts, and the first woman to have a song topping 12 charts at once. Even outside of music, she was the first non-model or athlete to shoot a cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and she has shot more magazine covers than any other black artist in the world. Not only that, but the movie Dreamgirls, in which she starred in and helped to make, is the only movie in history to have 3 separate tracks nominated for Best Song at the Academy Awards. It would be impossible to name all her accolades, especially now, since her empire has just grown to include an award-winning documentary alongside her many other projects. Plus, when she's not learning impossibly intensive dance routines or creating chart-topping tunes, she's raising 3 children. All that together makes her the undisputed queen of pop in my eyes. But just in case you're not convinced, we're counting down the top 7 things you might not have known about Beyonce. Number 1. Beyonce has only ever had 2 boyfriends. Before Jay-Z came along, Beyonce had only ever had one other boyfriend. For a woman who could practically have any man in the world, that doesn't seem like a lot at all. In 2008, she told The Telegraph, "When I was 12, 13, I had my first boyfriend, and he was my boyfriend till I was 17. She went on to say, "At that age, that was a long time. I've always been very loyal and a little more mature, though I was too young for it to really be a boyfriend. We didn't live together. We didn't. That was my only experience with a guy. And since then, I've only had one other boyfriend in my life." Jay-Z and Beyonce met when she was just 18, somewhere around the year 1997. In 2001, they appeared together on the cover of Vanity Fair's music issue, and apparently sparks were already flying, with the two flirting constantly and trying to figure out if they should make their feelings more clear. Throughout 2002 and 2003, the two collaborated together on both Crazy in Love and Bonnie and Clyde, fueling rumors and leading fans to go crazy, no pun intended, over whether the two of them were together or not. They did eventually make things official and come out publicly about the relationship, but only at the 2004 VMAs. Number 2. She suffered from depression in the Destiny's Child era. Going solo might have been the best career decision Beyonce ever made, but it wasn't without its own set of consequences. After Kelly Rowland announced that the girl group were going their separate ways, it was Beyonce who got the brunt of the blame, with critics and fans implying that she was only out for herself and obsessed with the spotlight. As a result of this scrutiny, Beyonce fell into a period of depression, where she would lock herself in her room for days on end, and even struggled to eat or sleep regularly. She called it a lonely period in her life, where she wasn't sure who her friends were or what the point of her vigorous touring schedule was. It even got to the point where she wasn't sure what day it was, and couldn't say what city she was performing in on any given day. She kept up with touring and performing, but did everything in a blur. It got so bad that when she would win awards at the award shows, she would only be thinking about the next show she had to do, and didn't feel proud of herself at all. Eventually, because of this, her mom forced her to take a break and take care of her mental health. Number 3. If I Were a Boy is about a bad experience with pizza. If I Were a Boy, the lead single from Beyonce's 3rd solo album, I Am Sasha Fierce, was written by some folks called BC Jean and Toby Gad. Whilst Jean and Toby were walking through Times Square in New York, Jean claimed she wished she was a boy so that she didn't have to worry about eating slices of pizza. She was off carbs at the time. This prompted a discussion between the pair about what else she would do if she was a boy, and lo and behold, there you have it. They got straight into the studio to lay down the lyrics, and the track became the B-side to the also iconic single Ladies. Critics called it the best and most meaningful song she had ever written, and even claimed it showed a whole new side to her 12 years into her performance. In fact, some people were so jealous that they tweaked a performance of the track to make it seem wildly off key. Then started a rumor that the fake tape was actually the audio from Beyonce's in-studio vocals. Yikes. Number 4. After 2 days in this world, Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter was record breaker. Right after the birth of their first child, Jay-Z released the track Glory on his social networking page. The track included audio of Blue's crying, which meant she had to be credited as a contributor on the track, since technically her vocals were being used. The song was about the joy Jay-Z felt at becoming a father, and the tragedy him and Beyonce had previously gone through since their last attempt to have a child had resulted in a miscarriage. As well as including Blue's cries, the track also opened with the sound of her heartbeat, signaling the start of a new era for the family. The song was massively well received, with the Time magazine calling it the greatest love song in hip-hop history. Not only that, but when it shot into the Billboard 100 just 2 days after Blue was born, Blue became the youngest person ever to have her song in the charts. Not bad for a 2-year-old, but when you have musical geniuses Jay-Z and Beyonce for parents, it's probably expected that you get involved in the family business from a young age. Number 5. A word was added to the Oxford English Dictionary thanks to Queen Bee. There are many important milestones you can hit when you become a musician, and each performer will have one that they think is the most important. For some, the dream might be to have their song nominated for a Grammy or even an Academy Award. For more ambitious people, the goal might even be to reach for an EGOT, which involves winning an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. One thing not a lot of musicians aim for though is to coin a term so iconic that it ends up in the dictionary. Not many artists can claim that honor, but Beyonce is one of the few who can, since it's because of her that the word bootylicious is in the dictionary. She didn't actually invent the word, but the Destiny's Child song definitely helped to popularize it, which is one of the criteria you need to hit to get a word included in the dictionary. Apparently, usage of the word shot up so much after the song was released that it entered into what language experts call common usage. That means if you say the word bootylicious on the street, everyone is pretty much guaranteed to know what you mean. Number 6. Her dad gave her a lot of homework. Given how much Beyonce's father had riding on his daughter's music career, it's hardly surprising that he took it so seriously. However, some of the techniques he used to make sure Destiny's Child were at the top of their game might be a little surprising. For example, he gave all 3 of the girls literal homework in the form of videos they had to watch, which usually included footage of musical greats. These included videos of Michael Jackson, but also focused on powerful women such as Janet Jackson, Tina Turner, and Whitney Houston. Her father encouraged Beyonce to study the moves and body language of the performers, almost like football players watching game tapes in order to prepare for their own matches. However, that wasn't the only approach he tried that was inspired by sports. As well as making the members of Destiny's Child do research like athletes, he also made them work out like athletes. As well as encouraging them to eat healthy and work out, he forced them to sing while jogging, which apparently gave them better breath control and stamina on stage. Number 7. She is the 5th most followed person on Instagram. Beyonce is the 5th most followed account in the world, with 113 million people keeping up to date with the Queen Bee on the social media platform. Her feed is carefully curated and mostly features professional photography, usually to promote her latest project. There are very few candidates, probably since they would look out of place amongst all the official press images and model photo shoots. With that said, there are some breaks from the theme, usually when she posts her own performance videos or the occasional throwback Thursday which no one can resist. The crazy thing is, despite her fierce feed, Beyonce isn't the most followed person in Instagram. In fact, She's not even the most followed musician. As far as female pop stars go, Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande both beat Queen Bee, with Ariana raking 118 million, whilst Gomez tops them both at 135 million. However, even being the most fabulous artist isn't enough to snag the top spot as far as followers go, since Instagram itself actually holds the record. To beat the platform, Beyonce would have to surpass its impressive 234 million people.